Okay, welcome back. So if we look at where our player spawns, when we die, we want that to be a random platform. So right now, it doesn't put us at one of the 4 platforms. We tried to get it right here, but it spawned us down here. And it turns out, I was just reviewing the last footage of this. Excuse me. When we die and respawn right here, here's what we forgot. We did pass in the Y for the spawn point 2, which is the left spawn point, but we forgot that in our ostrich class, there's a platform spawn Y parameter that we weren't giving the proper position on the platform here. So now we should spawn in our normal spot, and then when we die, we should go to that left platform spawn point. Perfect. See, so we don't want that. We don't want that happening. So one way to fix that is to add the temporary safety, which we haven't done yet, but now that we got it working like that, we want to put the random one in. So we want an X and a Y and a spawn point, but we want it to be a random index. So we use the hashtag operator there. I don't forget what it's called, but that means there's a table called spawn zone points, and that hashtag means make it 4. Like, it means like the number, it's the number of elements in the table, I think. So since there's 4 elements in our spawn zone points that we hard coded up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, it'll give us a random number between 1 and 4. So that the next question is, if we put this math.random in the index again, does it use the same? Does it get the same random number as an output? I'm thinking it will, because it's the same frame as far as delta frames considered, but I'm not exactly sure how that works. We'll just have to see if when we respawn it's in random places, random X's and random Y's. That one happened to work. Oh. Yeah, let's give us some more lives to start with. So yeah, we have to do something. We have to run the math.random only once, store it as a variable, and then give it... So that one worked. That one got a little jank. Oopsies. It's kind of working. Okay, that one's for sure jank. So we die. Okay, so we need a variable. We need a variable here that gets assigned. Call it spawn random or spawn index. Spawn point index. Spawn point index. I don't know. And say spawn point index gets a math.random or and then the index is the same. The index we put in as that variable. So now we're only getting that variable once. This will need to be a self.spawnPoint index. And it's a number, integer. But we gotta give us that field up here. Initialize it to 0 to start with. And then the frame we collide. The frame, no, what is that? The frame here. If our player is dead, yeah, if we're dead. I don't know why I have this else if that doesn't do anything, but I guess this is saying if we have more than one life. Then do this instantiation and a spawn point index. It's not this anymore, it's self.spawnPoint index. And we need that as the index in all these. Okay. You don't need the math.random. Okay, let's try that. I'm hoping we don't get that weird middle spawn anymore. Okay, 2 for 2, good on spawns, and they were random, quote unquote random. Okay, 3 for 3. We're just looking for that left one to be put in the right spot. Nice. I think we're good on the random spawn here. Let's just do one more for good measure. Yep. Every time we've died, we've respawned at the correct X and Y of a platform spawn point. And a random one, yeah. Nice. Okay. So we only get the spawn point for our ostrich upon death. We instantiate at the ground though, because that's just how the original is. But we need the vultures to spawn from random ones. So instead of doing the V when I press V here, it needs to be these ones. So it's hard to say how we want to do this, because if we want it if we want it to be exactly like the original, or if we just want to implement some random version of the original. Well, like, because the way the pseudo randomness works in the video game, it'll be able to, we can either make it random once and then every time we do it, watch when they spawn here. So vultures go right platform, left platform. So right, left, right. Do we want to emulate that for ours? We probably want the same number of vultures, but it's hard to say if we want to emulate it exactly. So, and then just like here, left, up, left, right. So it looks like we come from a random one, but they might come from same. If we do it again, we'll see if it goes. I think it was left, right, or right, left for the first one, right? Okay, no, it is random. Okay. It was random. I think we need to turn down the threshold for capturing an egg just a bit in our code. See, like, I didn't know that was possible to fly through them like that and capture the eggs. I thought that was impossible. Rude. Dude, the hand was going for me. Did you see that? The hand is so scary. Fuck. This is actually the furthest I've ever. Oh! Did you guys see that shit? I was gonna say I never made it to wave 4 before, and then I fucking died instantly. What the fuck is that? The hand is grabbing him. That's freaking wild. I didn't know the hands did that shit until it happened to me once. Okay, so it does seem random. So we don't want to. You know what we can do? There's a way to set there's a way to set your random seed, and you can do that. Okay, let me see. There's, you know what? It's in. If we go look at our GitHub, if we had the shoot, maybe I do it in the Great Machine. Maybe, let's see. I don't use. Oh, I do. Look at in the love.load. In the love.load, we have math.randomSeed, and we seed by the OS time. So then when we do math.random, it'll be different every time we load the game. A different seed, which is what we want. So we'll paste this random seed in our love.load function of our main right here. So love.load will just load the random seed right here. So now every time we do math.random, it'll be seeded with a different number depending on the current time of our operating system. So if we now put these 3 ostriches not at Not at these X positions, but at random. Just like how we had right here. This is the code we need. The table. Oh. Okay, no. I guess... So we can do it like that. The vultures if we want. Okay, yeah, because we need to use the same random number through, twice. Oh, but you know what? We need the offset because we don't want them all spawning at the same exact time, especially if they spawn from the same port by random. So before we do them randomly, we need to get them spawning one at a time. Okay. How would we do this? How do we offset their time? If we had a trigger, by trigger I mean a Boolean flag to say like, oh, we already have it, right? We already have it. It's our spawning Boolean. Because once we spawn, our self.spawning gets true. We can change this to where we instantiate as self.spawn gets false, and then manually set them to true after so many seconds, with some timer, which should then offset them, and then if they spawn from the same portal, they're not going to be directly overlapping each other, which is a good thing. Gosh, I'm just really itchy. Let's do that. We're going to instantiate us false first, false on spawning. So our spawning field in our vulture class is now instantiated false, and the logic to move it. Actually, it depends how we trigger this. Oh, no, now I'm getting confused because now. Here, let me. If we're spawning, else if not exploded. See, we don't want exactly this. Fuck. Because if we... Right here we have it upon true update spawning. But now, since spawning instantiates as false, we would actually load this logic, which is to update its Y position and X position, and start checking for collisions before it even exists. So like the if self-spawning logic here means literally if we're in the act of spawning, do this, but we don't want to we want to put that I don't know what to do. It's like we need another Boolean, and we can say basically we want to say don't update anything if we're not existing yet. So like what if we have a Boolean called like not existing yet, and if it's not existing yet, don't do anything, but otherwise cue all the update logic, because the second we swap that flag of non-existing to true, or fucking flip it, or whatever, whatever variable we come up with. I guess let's try that. We'll give ourselves existing, and you start off not existing, and you start off not spawning. And then here we have to say in our update function, we indent everything, and we say here, if not self no we'll do if self-existing, then check your spawning and everything. So we need to say spawning. See, I don't think we need it quite like this. It's hard for me to wrap my head around this. We need a spawning variable and an existing variable, because the flip we're going to say is that I'm only updating if we're existing. So since we spawn not existing, meaning our existing field in our vulture class is false, then it wouldn't update any of this logic. And the first thing this logic does is test if we're spawning or not. We're only going to be spawning. We're only going to be spawning upon existing. So the question is, do we need both of those variables? I don't think so, because we can just say if we're existing, and by existing I mean spawning. So that means no, this is the difference, because when we're not spawning, we need to be doing all of our other logic. Oh my god. Okay. God damn it. I think we need our spawning because we're using our spawning. Shit, man. And this is different too, because this is going to have to change with our temporary invincibility, which we still have to do. But maybe I can say we just have to do this, that if we because the difference is this whole block of code is within the self-existing, because once self-existing gets turned true, I guess we'd have to turn it off once we've died, not just exploded. Well, no, because it's more complicated than that, because they turn into an egg. Oh my god. Shit, man. But the egg is an item within this class, so okay, so yeah, we do need two variables, I think. So we just have to do it where we say something like we have a timer in our play state that keeps updating Okay, so we need something like, instead of instantiating 3 vultures right away, we need to instead set a, You know, maybe we give ourselves our first wave. You know, like we say self dot wave to determine which wave you're on. So on wave 1, we could determine a certain amount of vultures to spawn. So in our play state update, we can say if self dot wave is 1 is equal to 1, then we want to instantiate. Here's where we need the counter, so we can give ourselves a spawn timer. Okay, so we're giving ourselves a spawn timer, and we're gonna say how would we do this if we want 3 different vultures at random spawn points? How would we say stop at 3 vultures? Yeah, let's just see if self.wave is 1, then we're gonna put vulture 1 at a random thing, a random spawn point X and Y and spawn Y. Jesus. Okay, but we need just like how in our ostrich we did a variable to hold, what is it? Oh, we did it in the play state, wasn't it? Yeah, we had a spawn point index that gets a random of 4. So you know what? Yeah, it's like if we do a for loop here and iterate the vulture's index, because we know we need a 1, 2, 3 on the vulture index. Then we can say we can do. Okay, so look, here's what I'm thinking. So as soon as we start the game, we'll be in the first wave. So we turned these instantiations of vultures off, which this stuff too. See. Okay, I mean, this is a great example of what we have to do, because we have to determine, do we also face them a random facing direction or not? And then also, if they are facing a way, flip their DX. So this is really complicated. Then we need a hard code. We need to hard code that instantiation into our vultures table so that we can cycle through and update and render everything appropriately. There's a tricky, I mean, the for loop in Lua isn't actually tricky. It's just that I haven't done a lot of for loops, if any, in Lua yet. So I'm a little rusty on the syntax. Like, I know you gotta initialize and then condition and then increment, but for init max mil increment. So for I gets 10, 1, -1. 1 would be the maximum minimum value, -1 would be the decrement. So I can say for I get 0, 10, positive 1, and it'd be the same thing. So it's just that initialization, condition, decrement or increment. They call it a max min value, yeah. I call it a condition because it could be, it can be more than one thing. It could be the height, or it could be the highest value or the minimum value. Okay, so we need to, if self.wave is 1, we need a for loop of 3. So we're going to say for I gets, and we're actually going to Lua 1 index, so we need for I gets 1 to 4, then 1. And I don't think it's then, I think it's do. And then, just want to double check that do. No. Oh no, yeah, you do have a do. Okay. So this should be a 3. This should spawn 3, but we need to, if self.wave. See, now I'm getting lost in like trying to increment these values to know the timer of spawning them, the spawn timer, right? But inside of a delta time loop, you know, it's almost like I don't know what to do, man. I don't know what to do here, because if we do this for loop, it'll do it 3 times before it exits the first delta time of this loop, meaning we'll have all same math random stuffs. So I'm trying to wrap my head around how to design it for different random values, but I'm just like, I'm just not knowing what to do. Because we need to spawn 1. Okay. See, I'm stuck on how to only do something 3 times here for like 3 instantiations. Like, if we do self.wave.1, my idea was to get this spawn timer, or what was the spawn timer we did? Just spawn timer, self spawn timer. It wouldn't be self spawn timer. Oh, God damn it. Are we using self spawn timer anywhere else? No, it was. So this needs to be vulture spawn timer to be more verbose. Then we'll say self.vulture spawn timer. Since it's a wave 1, we want to just increment that spawn timer, that vulture spawn timer. So we're going to increment it by dt, and then if it's bigger, if it's bigger than 1 second, then we want to spawn the first one, right? The amount of time that's passed is greater than 1 second, then we want to spawn vulture 1. Let me see if see, now we have to do another thing. We have to not only put in a vulture 1, we want to put it at the appropriate random location. So this X is actually part of our spots of points, and the index is a math.random, and we're now getting seeded by OS time, but a math.random of 4, because there's 4 different possibilities. But see, we need the fucking, god damn it, we need the same we need the value to hold it, so we get the consistent index, just like how we have our spawn point index here. So vulture spawn point index we also need. So look, so we need a vulture spawn point index also. Vulture spawn point index. But we need to assign assigning it to a random number. Then it's at that index, but that X, the X field of that index. Then we need the Y. And then we need the Y again. But the thing is, we wouldn't be updating that vulture, because it's not in our vultures table just yet. So we need to move it into our vulture table. So this should have, hoping this has the effect of oh, you know what? Fuck, man. Maybe I was overthinking the initialization stuff with the because here, if we're controlling the instantiation time with the spawn timer like this, then we don't need that existing flag. We can just instantiate it, at which point spawning will come true. So I don't think we need the whole existing bit anymore. Oh. Sorry guys, hard for me to focus on this. It's just difficult and my brain doesn't want to do it. Let's just try to crack down and do it. Basically, I'm saying we don't need this existing anymore. Which means we can unindent all of this. And then we can take our existing out of here. I don't think I had even added it yet. I did. Well, so now Let's see if we are given one vulture now after 1 second. Vulture spawn time and nil value. It wasn't at a platform, which is what confused me. Not exactly at a platform. What if we just hard code it to be the left platform? See if that works. No. We didn't stop. The platforms are still instantiated, and those are what's used to give the spawn zone points, so I don't really see why the spawn zone points would be so busted. Okay, I don't know what to do. This self spawn point index. No, that's when we die. That's why we need our vulture index here, but it doesn't work. It's like, it's so fucked up. For some reason, we're not getting a good random number here. But we're doing a vulture spawn point index from a random of 4, so why doesn't we need this table, which has an S at it, at a certain index. At a certain index of our vulture spawn point, index and at an X location, then our Y is the same, except the Y field. Then this second to last argument is also that same Y field. Then we're inserting that object we just made into our vultures table at the first index. If we do this different, and say just kidding, give us just this original vulture again, does it work? No, he doesn't spawn. You saw that he didn't spawn or anything. So we might have swapped something here in our... Oh, spawning gets false. It does. Spawning needs to get true. So that's how we do the scaling. The moving upwards. Okay, so now that that's freaking right. Let's turn this off. Then we'll say if our wave is on 1, start the timer, spawn a first vulture at the first vulture spawn index. We really just didn't do it, huh? Means with an S. Let's say hard coded at the first index. Does that work? No. Just trying to see a freaking ostrich on screen. I mean a vulture, but I don't even see him on screen. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. If we turn this on, it works. Okay, but if we take this verbatim, put it here after our spawn timer increment, We're doing that same code just after 1 second now. It's not working. Vulture spawn timer. Vulture spawn timer is incrementing right. Or our self vulture spawn timer gets incremented. Vulture spawn timer. Why is this not the working? It should do the same exact thing as the code I just took out. Spawning is true now. Did we change something here? Spawning doesn't become false until we're at the top of the height of the platform. I don't get why I'm not seeing it. We're adding it to the table. We're instantiating it. That should be it. The spawn timer gets set to 0, then it gets incremented. So if we just print out vulture spawn timer, should be bigger than 1. If it doesn't increment, we know we messed up, but it's incrementing fine, so this should instantiate a vulture right away, and it doesn't. We have it, if we just take this out and we just say if wave is 1, increment that vulture, or instantiate that vulture, it still doesn't exist. If we take it line for line, put it right above it, what happens? Nothing. What the fuck's going on? If we take it, we turn it on in our init, it works fine until it disappears. The self wave is 1. Sure, 1. Fuck, dude, what the fuck is going on? I don't know what the hell's happening, dude. I don't know what the hell's happening. I'm gonna have to figure it out. I might come back to it later today. Or I might just try to figure it out tomorrow. I don't get why it's just not working. The same line of code works in the init, but doesn't work over here. It's just weird. just won't show up anymore. What if we do this? To instantiate it with the timer, it doesn't like that. Okay, I don't know, man. I don't know. This off, does that screw with other vultures spawning? No. So why is that fine? Yeah, I don't get why it works fine until I do it in this loop and then it's busted. I don't get it. Anyways, I'm not making much progress on it right now, so okay, not a great episode, sorry guys. It's just difficult. It's difficult, I've never done it before, but we're making slow progress.